You might have heard whispers in the world of coin collecting, rumors that a simple quarter, struck more than 50 years ago, could be worth not just hundreds, not just thousands, but maybe even millions of dollars. Sounds unbelievable, right? Could a coin you might still find in pocket change hold a fortune? Well, today we're going to uncover the full story of the 1970 D Washington quarter. Its design, its history, its values, the rare errors that make it exciting, and of course, the truth about whether it can ever be worth millions. Watch till the end, because the real value of this coin may surprise you. Let's begin with the design, because every coin starts with the art it carries. On the obverse, or the front of the coin, is the profile of America's first president, George Washington, facing left. This portrait was created in 1932 by sculptor John Flanagan, and it was originally meant to be temporary. But the design became so popular, it stayed on quarters for decades. Above Washington's head, in bold letters, is the word Liberty. To the left of his neck is the motto, "In God We Trust," one of the most important phrases in U.S. coinage. At the bottom, you'll see the date, 1970. And here's the key detail for our coin. Right beside the date, right to the portrait, you'll see a small letter that is possibly D in this coin, but it is not clear. That tiny D tells us this coin was struck at the Denver Mint in Colorado. Without that mint mark, it would have been made in Philadelphia. But this coin clearly shows the D. Now, let's flip it over to the reverse, or backside. At the center, you'll see an eagle, wings stretched proudly, standing on a bundle of arrows. The arrows represent military strength and America's readiness to defend itself. Just below the arrows, the eagle rests upon an olive branch, the timeless symbol of peace. This combination is no accident. It shows America's balance between power and diplomacy. Around the eagle, the design is framed by inscriptions, United States of America, at the top, E pluribus unum, just above the eagle's head, and the denomination, $quarter, at the bottom. Simple, bold, and instantly recognizable, this design has been in the hands of Americans for generations. But as we'll see, not all 1970 D quarters are equal. Some are worth only 25 cents, while others are worth hundreds, even thousands. Let's know the historical context. Why 1970 matters. To understand the 1970 D quarter, we need to step back in time. In 1965, just a few years before this coin was struck, the U.S. Mint made a huge change. Because of rising silver prices, quarters were no longer made of 90% silver. Instead, the mint switched to a copper-nickel-clad composition, a copper core with layers of nickel on the outside. That's what the 1970 D quarter is made of. So while older quarters from before 1965 are valued for their silver content, the 1970 D is purely a collector's coin. Its value doesn't come from the metal. It comes from rarity, condition, and errors. The year 1970 itself was a time of change in America. The country was still deep in the Vietnam War, cultural shifts were transforming society, and the mint was striking billions of coins to meet everyday demand. Among them was our coin, the Denver-minted 1970 D quarter. Now let's talk about what everyone really wants to know, the value. In circulated condition, meaning it has been used in everyday transactions, the 1970 D quarter is generally worth only its face value, 25 cents. Millions were made, and most are still very common. But in uncirculated condition, where the coin has never been used and still has its original shine, the value jumps. These can be worth $10 to $50 depending on quality. At higher certified grades like MS65 or MS66, the value can reach $100 to $500. And in top condition, MS67, this coin has sold for nearly $2,000 at auction. So while it's not $1 million coin, it is proof that even a modern quarter can be worth serious money if it's in the right condition. It's time to know auction records, real-world proof. Auction houses provide the clearest picture of what collectors are willing to pay. For the 1970 D quarter, records show a PCGS-graded MS67 example has sold for around $2,000. Coins in MS66 regularly sell for $200 to $400. Even MS65 examples can bring $50 to $150. These numbers may not sound like millions, but remember, we're talking about a coin that started life as 25 cents. That's thousands of times its face value. Let's discuss errors and varieties. where things get exciting. The real thrill of the 1970 D quarter comes from its errors and varieties. Some examples include doubled die obverse, DDO. This is where the lettering or numbers appear doubled, especially on the motto or date. Strong doubled dies are rare and can bring hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Repunched mint mark, RPM. Since the D mint mark was hand-punched in those days, sometimes it was struck more than once, creating a slightly doubled D. Collectors pay premiums for these, often $200 or more. Off-center strikes. If the coin wasn't properly aligned in the press, part of the design is missing. Depending on how dramatic the error is, these can be worth hundreds of dollars. Clipped planchets. If the metal blank was cut incorrectly, part of the coin's edge will be missing. These errors can sell for $100 to $300. Struck-through errors. If something like grease, fabric, or another object got between the die and the blank during striking, it leaves a strange impression on the coin. Unique errors like this can sell for hundreds of dollars. These are the coins that really excite collectors, because every error is unique, and some can command surprisingly high prices. Now let's come back to the rumor. Can the 1970 D Washington quarter ever be worth millions? The simple answer is no. Unlike coins such as the 1933 Double Eagle, which have histories filled with mystery and rarity, the 1970 D quarter was minted in huge numbers, and no unique specimens have ever been discovered that would push its value into the millions. The highest recorded values for this coin are in the low thousands, not millions. A pristine MS-67 or dramatic error might sell for $1,000, $2,000, or maybe a bit more, but not anywhere close to $1 million. Still, the whispers continue. And part of the magic of coin collecting is the dream, the possibility that a coin in your pocket change could turn out to be something extraordinary. Let's know why collectors still care. If it's not worth millions, why do collectors still chase the 1970 D quarter? The answer is simple. It's about history, rarity in condition, and the thrill of the hunt. Most 1970 D quarters were used and worn down in circulation. Finding one today in pristine mint state is much harder than it sounds. Add in the hunt for rare errors, and suddenly a common coin becomes an exciting collectible. Collectors also love coins with stories. 1970 was the tail end of the 1960s, a time of change, tension, and transformation in America. Every coin from that year carries a piece of that history. So, can the 1970 D Washington quarter make you a millionaire? The truth is no. It's not $1 million coin. But can it be worth far more than its 25-cent face value? Absolutely. In average grades, it's worth pocket change. In uncirculated grades, it's worth $10 to $50. In mint state 65 or higher, it climbs into the hundreds. And in MS-67 or with rare dramatic errors, it can reach $1,000 to $2,000. That's the beauty of coin collecting. Sometimes the most ordinary-looking coin hides a secret value. So next time you see a 1970 D quarter, don't just spend it. Look closely. Check the date, check the mint mark, and check for errors. Because while it may not make you a millionaire, it might still surprise you. And remember, always watch till the end, because the real value may not be what you expect.